Co-founder of the Muslim Reform Movement, Asra Nomani. Asra, good to have you here this morning.
Thanks so much, Abby.
So we can just pull up that Quinnipiac poll, for example, just to show that 48% of Americans support this refugee ban that is now put in place. You're a Muslim, and you say it's not just Americans. Muslims also support this. Why do you support it?
Well, you know, Abby, I came to America in the summer of 1969 as a 4-year-old. I was joining my parents from India. And in these years since, in these decades since, what I have witnessed and experienced firsthand is an extremism inside my Muslim community that has spilled blood from San Bernardino to Orlando. We have a crisis. We are facing an ideological war of our generation. We need extreme solutions. I understand very deeply that there are human casualties. As the pendulum swings from the left to the right, there are human beings in the middle, and we need to find compassionate solutions, but we also need pragmatic strategies. And so this 30 days in which the Trump administration is going to be developing its counter-extremism and counter-ISIS strategy is so critical. What I hope that they will do is, you know, fix some of these logistical nightmares that are emerging, you know, with the executive order, but also come up with a strategic plan that tackles the ideology of extremism.
Yeah, so that's really well said. I mean, you look at just the past 12 hours and the protests that have taken place at airports across the country. You say that this is all being stirred up by the left. You go on Twitter, and it seems like there's a pile on this narrative that President Trump he hates Muslims. This is simply a ban on Muslims. Help people better understand what's going on and why you think this is all coming from the left.
Well, absolutely, Abby. You know, as Lieutenant Colonel Schaefer just stated a few minutes ago, the 7 countries identified in this ban were identified by the Obama administration. This is the actual announcement by the Department of Homeland Security during the Obama administration, identifying those 7 countries as countries of concern. And so this is not a Muslim ban. This is a ban that is clearly identified to try to make this country's borders safer. What I've seen in the left, unfortunately, as a lifelong liberal, is immediately after the election of President Donald Trump, what we have seen is a concentrated, orchestrated effort to try to undermine the presidency, as if we're all living on the set of the Hunger Games. What I know is that the organizations that are involved in this effort to take people from the streets...
Yeah, tell us more about those. Who is funding these protests that we're seeing break out?
Yeah, you know, for many years I've been trying to understand the organizations that have undermined national security policy in the U.S. And what I was able to identify is that in 2008, the Open Society Foundation, funded by Hillary Clinton donor George Soros, started trying to undermine the Bush administration national security policies. That same network of dozens of organizations has now sent people out into the streets. They include the ACLU, they include a group called Empower Change, many of the same organizations that were involved in the so-called Women's March that was actually an anti-Trump march. And so what I invite everyone to do from the left to the right is take a deep breath, stand on the middle path, and come up with solutions that remember the humanity of everyone and keep our country safe, as well as hospitable to those who do love this country.